Well, let's see if I remember how to do this. Um, it's been a minute since I've done anything like this, recorded myself or done podcasting. I have been lucky enough to be a part of some really, really great shows in the past. And as a guest on different shows and doing different episodes here and there, most notably, I was very, very lucky to be a part of the Closet of Nonsense. And for those of you that have found this podcast because you know me from there or know who we are, there's a lot of similarities. We let that podcast go for, a bazillion of reasons, to be honest with you. Several personal ones, several professional ones. The way things were going just didn't feel great on a societal level. But more than anything else, it seemed like everybody had kind of a podcast. Everyone who I have an opinion and everyone should be listening to me. And there was just this huge flood of bad information, misinformation, and none of us really wanted to be a part of that. It just felt really wrong. And so we kind of stepped back, and for one, I missed it. I missed being able to do the interviews and be able to talk to people, but also I didn't want to be in a time when so much gets put out there that is just utter bullshit and then presented as fact. I don't want to be one of those people who doesn't actually study and do enough background and fact checking to say something that I don't know about. And it's just finally hit a point that I kind of can't keep it to myself. So in a lot of ways, what I plan on doing with this podcast, with the loosening of association that this one is, if you know what that means, you'll understand this a whole lot better. I want to do some of the same things that we all did with Closet of Nonsense, in that it was an interview-based podcast. We, as many times as possible, would get into groups and interview people and talk to them and bring their story forward. And I want to do that. I want to continue talking to people who have something to say, have a story to tell, whether it's funny, whether it's inspiring, whether it's tragic, whether it's just, hey, this is what I'm doing and it's something that people find interesting. I want to bring that out again. I want to get back to presenting people as people, because one of the things that I've noticed, particularly in the last several years, is that the further we get into social media and the concepts behind social media, the further we get away from understanding these are human beings. These are people. We see the characters. We see the concepts. We don't see the people behind those ideas. And I want to get there. I want to get there again. And it's not something that I think will be easy. It's not something I'm comfortable with, because it means that I have to step out of my own comfort level and get in front of the camera some. And I hate that so much. I hate being in front of the camera so much. But to really own something, to really present something as an opinion of my own, or present facts, I don't want to be one of those people who's presented as, well, it's easy to say because you're hiding behind your computer. I don't want to do that. I want to be a person who actually, if I stand up for something, it's me. It's not some concept, or I'm not a keyboard warrior. I don't want to be that person accused of, oh, you're only talking tough, or you're only saying this because you have that screen between us. I won't be that. And I won't tolerate, in myself, I won't tolerate doing that. So that being said, it still will be an open forum. It still will be just like the Closet of Nonsense was exactly that. We don't have a theme. That's our theme. That's what I'm doing, is trying to make a way of, hey, if it's about music, if it's about art, if it's about whatever people want to talk about. And that includes the state of the world as we know it right now, which is kind of a dumpster fire. And I'm saying kind of kindly, it's a dumpster fire. It's bad. And too many people are out trying to live their lives and experience things and kind of, in a way, pretend that everything's fine just to get through. And that's kind of where my head is. It feels silly at times to go out and take photos or play music or do whatever and try and pretend to be an entertainer, or try and do these things that are purely for, I don't want to say they don't matter, because they do matter, but on a global scale, does it change things? And I'm reminded of something a very good friend told me, is, does this bring you joy? In the end, does this bring you joy? And I am trying very hard to find any joy. Not just for me, but from other people. So if I can do that in some fashion with this, that's what the plan is. It is going to be touchy subjects and touchy topics at times. It is. But it's also going to be because this is, it's my shit show. So I'm going to talk about paranormal experiences and ghost hunting and aliens and shit like that. Whether it's in the news or not, that stuff is interesting to me. I'm going to talk about different films and the weird facts and the behind the scenes and the things like that I find fascinating. And hopefully, I love that nerd side of things when people show up and go, oh, well, I know this about Lord of the Rings, or I know this about Star Wars. Like, I want to have those conversations with people where they get excited about the thing. Here's this thing that I like. Do you two also like this? And want to show it off. I want to do that. Music, obviously. Music is autobiographical, and there's no way to avoid really how that works in the society that we live in today. Whether people want to admit it or not, music is just an everyday part of what we do. It's the most accessible form of art that we actually seem to all use, even in our day-to-day. I mean, hell, how many people do you know that sit on social media and find the perfect snippet of a perfect song and for anything to put on their story that nobody even listens to because we're all kind of not supposed to be having our sound up while we're at our jobs or whatever. I do want to kind of focus on that nerdism too. I want to be able to step into people and say, look, man, it's okay. Like, I'll say it. Nerds are sexy. If you know a lot about something and you're willing to talk about it, I want you to. I want you to get excited and express your opinions and tell people what it is you're thinking about or what you're working on or those kinds of things. I don't care if it's D&D. I don't care if it's comic books. I don't care if it's movies. I don't care if it's some random obscure thing. I mean, I would love to get those kids that can do Rubik's Cubes in a fraction of a second. I think that'd be awesome just to be like, how? How? I can't function on a daily basis without massive amounts of caffeine, and they just do that and make it look easy. It pisses me off in a really good way. I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to embrace the anime and manga and the other side of that I have never really gotten to express in a public forum, even though I'm involved in those things. I want to talk to voice actors and get people who do the voiceover work and do those different things and talk about why they're into the different films and the different concepts and characters they're into. The same as I would with the people who are penning the stories and writing it in the comics. Like I want that nerd side of things to really come out. On that same token, the thing I'm nerdiest about is true crime and horror. And so I'm going to probably have pretty regular segments and or entire episodes about new horror films or existing horror films or true crime, or have people on that want to discuss these things. And in some instances, just because when I listen to other podcasts about these things, there's so much misinformation, or they skip over the really mind-altering parts, like why was this person like this, or what affected this. They did this and they make it all dramatic. I don't want the drama of it. I want the facts, and I want to present that in a way so people actually go, oh, so this happened and this is how this actually went. It's not the Hollywood version. I want to be able to present that properly, and I don't think that that's done very well by very many people. Yes, there are people that I absolutely respect, and they do great with that. But it's the same when it comes down to the day-to-day. If something happens and it's drastic and it's a topic that we want to talk about, I want to open that up to everybody that listens. I want to get everybody's take and have an actual conversation. And so that's going to be one of the biggest changes in this whole thing, is that it's going to be a little more interactive. I do have a Discord server. I have created a way for you to get on there and join the forums and add your 2 cents and be able to talk about the different things that we have either talked about on the show, or that you want to be talking about on the show. And that gives an opportunity even for you as a listener to maybe take part in the show in some way, be it just suggesting questions, or even if you want to be on, I'm open to discussing that. I think it would be great to meet some of the people who have sent me messages over the years or sent me things and said, hey, what about this? And I love when you talk about this. And could you do this? There's no reason you shouldn't be on here too. So I want to be able to do that. I am not going to create a bunch of new social media about this. I'm going to use some of my existing social media that is not photography based. I'm going to start using the things that I've utilized. I mean, I have my Snapchat, I have a TikTok that's just me, things like that allow to actually speak my piece, where it's going to be more of a buffet than a single course, where it's going to be little bits of all the different kinds of art and all the different kinds of events I'm involved in. so that tattoo culture, anime culture, music culture, all that finds like this weird blend, and it's going to be a melting pot. And I think that makes more sense for me. And I think it's something that people can actually resonate with a little more freely and easily, rather than being, oh, I have to go follow these 8 different accounts to be able to get every piece. I don't want to do that. It's exhausting. I do that every day, all day with the people I work with. I don't want to do it for me. So one of the big parts of that is I'm going to bring forward, is it from a movie and a play and a book and things that came out here, the idea of top fives. And if you've ever actually seen the film in particular or read the book, anybody will know what I'm talking about. But there's this idea that nothing can be the best. You can't have a favorite. And I have subscribed to this for very, very, very many years, in that you can have a favorite song to drive to, but that's different than your favorite song to study to, or your favorite song to dance to, or your favorite song to sing along to. So I believe in concepts of top fives. The idea of, I'm going to present the top 5 songs for road tripping, the top 5 songs for a first date, the top 5 songs that dictate and explain who you are when you're introducing yourself to a new person. That's your musical resume. I want to talk about those things. I want to talk about the same in film, the same in books, the same in anything that is art or culture. What are your top 5s? Not your favorite, but your favorites for certain situations. And I present that myself when people are like, what's your favorite color, or what's your favorite band? Or I can't answer. It's an unfair question. And that's kind of the focus of this, is kind of this disjointed jumble of information I want to put into some kind of a way that people actually can go, oh, I get that. I understand that. And then they want to take part. So now, some of the disclaimers. I'm going to talk about shit nobody wants to hear. There's going to be episodes you're like, oh, dude, I don't want to. I mean, there's going to be trigger warnings. There's going to be things. There's too much trauma and too much going on in this world. And there's things people just don't want to hear because they don't want to face the truth. I'm going to talk about those things, and I'm going to do it pretty unapologetically. I'm going to try and be as forthcoming with what I'm going to be covering and what I'm going to be talking about, so that people don't get into something and go, oh my God, I hate you now because I didn't realize you felt this way. At the same time, I'm okay with that, because I think it's okay for everybody to have differing opinions and still be okay with each other in certain. At the end of the day, this is about entertainment, but it's also about information. And I wanted so badly to be a journalist growing up, until I realized there was no truth in journalism, and that journalism, as I knew it, being newspapers and such, was going away. And now journalism is about follows and likes and advertising and getting all the ratings. And I don't fucking care about that. I simply don't. And I don't think that it's going to change quickly, but I think until media recognizes that media is supposed to be about truth and fact and data and not slant and opinion, until that is recognized, that an editorial is different than any kind of an actual article that is supposed to be about truth, until you take that away, we have a real fucking problem, especially in the United States. And I do not subscribe to that idea of, well, I'm going to present what I think without any of the other side or any of the facts involved. I'm just going to say, well, it's got to be this. I'm not fucking doing that. So that is something that people are going to have to deal with. The other thing is, you're going to have to deal with me. And I do voices on accident. I don't mean to. I don't know they're coming. I just randomly do weird accents or character voices or things. It's not a conscious thing. I just do it. And that's going to happen. So be aware that sometimes it's going to sound like somebody else is on here. It's probably still me. Oops. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I stutter. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have weird little whistly things that I do, almost like just little stems that hit me, and they're going to be there. If that's something that you're like, man, that just sounds unprofessional, I'm doing these in one take. I'm not editing these. I'm not going through and cutting them apart. That's not me either. You're unapologetically getting what comes out of my mouth, even if it's embarrassing to me or is kind of goofy. Sorry, not sorry. Also, I use fuck like a comma. I've had entire conversations with people that consisted of the words fuck and dude and understood them. I've been able to go back and forth for an extended period of time. We're like, fuck, dude, fuck, fucking fuck, dude. I'm fine with that. If you're not into that, you probably shouldn't listen to much of these episodes, because I don't believe in censorship in the traditional sense of holding myself. Now, that's not to say that I want younger people and children listening to what I have to say. This is very much an 18 and up podcast. This is very much who I am as a person. I believe in shielding your kids from some of that stuff, but also recognizing that it is out there. In my particular age bracket, I know that we all swore all the time, except when we were at school or around each other's parents or, a public forum and things like that. We didn't do that because we knew there was a time and a place. And I very much believe that's kind of the thing. And sometimes there is a lot of power in a well-placed fuck. It just is what it is. So I didn't really have a plan on this one, which is also kind of the concept, is I'm going into these, they're not scripted, they're not plotted, they're not planned. I have a few key points that I'm like, oh, I should talk about this, and I need to make sure I discuss this. But other than that, it's kind of going to be whatever pops into my head at the time. So if it feels a little disjointed and it feels like it's going in circles, anybody with ADD or ADHD knows that it's fine. You'll eventually get back to the point. And most of my autistic friends or any of my neurospicy friends will go, there's a point to it. You just got to kind of wait for the punchline, and hopefully you're along for the ride. I am hosting this through Patreon. If you want to be part of the Discord, you want to be part of the Patreon, please get on those. It is free to join. I'm not charging for this. If you want to help, cool. But that's also, it's not, I don't think I'm going to ever be rich doing this stuff. I just really feel like it's an important part of what I do as a person and as part of the communities that I'm in, that I have a voice that I can use and give to the other people in those. I am also very busy. So if you're along for the ride, you're going to experience things like trips out of town to strange conventions and weird events and concerts. You're going to experience times where I kind of look like a really dumb, fat, older child. And I'm fine with that because that is part of it too. I won't do as much remotes, but I will be doing some remotes. I'm going to try and stay as professional as possible and as polished as possible, but also you're going to kind of get some of the raw stuff here because it's fun. That's the real stuff. So please reach out. Please send me messages. I mean, I'm all over everywhere. Everything's under Psychotic, PSIKOTYK. Look it up. Find me. Say hey. Find out how you can take part if you want to, or at least tune in. And if you have an opinion or something I should be talking about, I'm all ears. In the meantime, check on your friends, check on your family, call your fucking parents, because, time is limited. And take care of each other. See you.